Hey everybody, and welcome back to I Am Dead. We have to look for Valerie, or look for people that remember Valerie, so we can summon her. We're in the sculpture park, and apparently this is the Vulpine Interpretations. I see a, Okay, we lock into the whole thing. That's interesting. Well, obviously we see a fox with some thought bubbles over its head. Ornette is old enough and comfortable enough with the people of Shelmerston that she no longer fears sleeping in the park. She considers it her park in broad daylight. Alright, well first of all, let's zoom in on some stuff. I just want to get a good cut of these wolves. Well, let's start with part 1. The Vulpine Interpretations, Part 1, Beckoning. It's just yellow inside. And Part 2 is also just yellow inside. Alright, well, that was not as interesting as I thought it might be. There is a fox's den, though. Hello, guys. Raymond the Fox, Baby Fox 1, and Baby Fox 2. Very cute until they grow up and rip open your bin bags. They got a bunch of gloves. They love gloves, apparently. Can I go further into things? You can. You can go even further into the grooming glove. That's interesting. Can I go further into the fox? No, you cannot look inside the fox. Neither can you look into any of the other kind of gloves. So it's just the grooming glove that apparently was thick enough for you to be able to look at. Vernon Russet. Hello, Vernon. You appear to be an apple man. Can I go inside your head? Cannot go inside your head. Alright, let's, actually, you know what? Bush with gloves in it? Alright, let's talk to the fox.
Gloves! I love them. I can't get enough gloves.
Yes, I've seen your love for gloves. That wasn't it. That wasn't it.
I stole
It was it.
farmer's glove. I stole the fisherman's glove.
I love that the fisherman's glove is stinky.
I saw that girl out in my woods, riding that strange bumpy beast around again.
That's a lady riding a camel.
She really seemed to love that awful creature.
Where's the right spot? There?
This was an opportunity I wasn't going to miss.
You're gonna steal the grooming glove, yes.
Lovely gloves.
You just love gloves. I gotcha.
I always did suspect there might be something in those rumours about camels on the island. All that time, and Val never let on. Bless you, Val.
Well, we know we gotta look for the glove, and we know exactly where the glove is because we've already found it once before. It's right there.
Hey, Morris. I bet you wish you were alive so you could rub me with this glove.
No comment. No comment. Alright, let's leave this. That was the Volpine Interpretations.
I'm getting the scent of Grenkins again, Morris. I'll pop up to let you know when we're close to one.
Alright, thank you. But I don't think we're going to be spending a lot of time looking for Grenkins in this playthrough. In loving memory of Valerie Alprum. Born 1978, died 2015, and she loved this place. Alright. Well, that looks like a nose and the inside of a mouth, but no, it's not. Unless we can zoom in on this guy's face. Memorial bench to Valerie Altram. Her father, the Laird, was keen to commission artist Cornelia Kircher to reinterpret the very notion of bench. However, it was pointed out that that wasn't really Val's style, and so this plain, sensible bench was made by a local carpenter. Actually, that might be trash in this little bin. Like in the trash bin here? That's not trash in the bin. That's not the Grimkin. Alright, you know what? I lied. I'm going to look for the Grimkin, but just for a second. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for the Grimkin. I see some bunnies. Some weird... Okay, they do have two eyes. Well, that one looks like it has one eye. Fisherman's boots. Like, is that part of the thing that we have to, like, make the fisherman's boots turn into something? I don't know. Maybe I should stop looking for the Grimkins because, yeah, this is not how I want to spend my time or your time. Why was there laughter? It feels like the Grimkin's in here.
Oh no, not this guy.
Hello, ready for some fun?
Oh, hello.
I'm Mr. Whitstable. Welcome to Mr. Whitstable's riddle game.
Morris, we don't have time for this. Let's get back to work.
Mr. Whitstable just wants you to enjoy yourself, solve my riddles, and achieve true happiness.
All right, Mr.
These
Whitstable.
do seem kind of fun.
Whatever, Morris.
Oh, Sparky. Okay, Mr. Whitstable, what do I have to do?
Hooray! Just select one of my fiendish riddles, then go off and find the object it's referring to. Easy. Well, actually, they're really hard.
Ha! Oh, we got this. Come on, Sparky.
All right, I will play, Mr. Whitstable. I will play. Lucky Rabbits Run. Arrow Flint Down. Old Laird Slumbering. Long Yoke Stretch, or the Truncated Root. I'm gonna go on Lucky Rabbit's Run, please. Is that what I'm looking for? Lucky Rabbit's Run? Well, I know there's rabbits. Did they not count? Probably a rabbit's foot or something. That's fun.
Mr. Whitstable is not impressed.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Whitstable. These riddles are really hard.
They are hard. Maybe unfair too. But hey, if you don't have what it takes to become a riddle master, Morris.
No. I'm sure I can figure them out, Mr. Whitstable.
Okay, Morris, I'll give you another chance. You'll have to go back and choose which riddle you want to look for, and then think really hard about what the riddle could possibly be referring to.
Oh, will do. Oh, thanks, Mr. Whitstable. I won't let you down.
Morris!
All right, yeah, we're not doing Mr. Whitstable. Apparently those have a time limit, and I don't really care. So, let's move on. I see this fellow here. Don Jones. Well, this is the... Okay, apparently there's a way to get a... I mean, surely the Grimkin whatever is in here somewhere. That kind of looks like that, but not really. Okay, give up. Stop looking for Grimkins. Start doing the actual storyline, which is this fellow here. Henry Outram, Laird of Shelmerston, Valerie's father.
After my wife Penny's death, I struggled to find ways to spend time with my daughter. It had hit us both hard, but, you know, stiff upper lip and all that. I always found it best to keep busy. Looking for something we could do together, I bought Valerie a set of paints. But she never even opened them. I was cross at first, but asked myself, what would Penny do? So I decided to let it go.
Is that not the solution? That was the solution? That was not the solution? I mean, that looks like a completed picture? Okay, that is. It was just slightly shifted.
Then one day I managed to talk her into coming into the park with me to paint some of the nature she loves so much. She wasn't very enthusiastic, but agreed to give it a try. It was a disaster. Valerie simply didn't have the temperament for painting. She had a huge, silly tantrum and threw all the paints away. I told her I wasn't having this kind of childish behavior, and I told her to stay in her room until she had calmed down. I wished Penny was still with us. She would have known what to do with the child.
Well, it looks like the child then just escaped out the window.
Very hard, that, to lose a parent. Was never going to be easy after her mum died, but he always did seem distracted with his fancy art projects.
That was Henry Outram. Henry is Valerie's father, the 17th Laird of Shelmerston, and its main landowner. He is a keen patron of the arts and often has resident artists staying in Outram Hall. His grounds are now a public park, on which he has just opened this sculpture garden. So now we are looking for a little art palette thing, easel paint palette. Maybe in this bag. You can zoom in on these people playing their game. No, we just have beer and some sandwiches. No, some little pies, like meat pies. Okay. That's not an art thing. A tree house. But that doesn't look... I mean, we can interact with it. There's a dog's butt. What are you looking for, dog's butt? Is it the art set? No, it's a bunch of cats. What you got up here, kids? Katie and Arthur's secret treasure box. You got an art palette in there, you guys? No. A zoo, a geode, an arrowhead, and a badge. Alright, we know that the art thing is here in this scene. Maybe it is in the big ziggurat looking thing over there. That's just their balls. Is it? I mean, I can't zoom in on this fellow's face, right? Yeah, so we've already seen this. I want to like look in his little basket inside of his cart, but no, can't do that. So it's got to be inside the thing. There's a concrete pineapple. Only visible from the top of Pilgrimage, the concrete pineapple was installed as a folly at the heart of the hill, situated in a space which is seemingly impossible for such an object to have entered. Oh no, this is the Grimkin. There it is. Hello. I said Grimkin. It's a Grenkin. Found a Grenkin. But that wasn't an art thing. There's not much in this scene, so you would think that it would be easy to find. There's that. There's the treehouse. There's that oh, it's a different tangled bush. I haven't looked at that one. I see the art supplies right there. If we go inside the bush, eventually we should have found a pallet. I don't even know how we're oriented right now. Let's zoom out because I don't really know where I'm at. Okay, I was under the ground. Really? There's not a pallet here? Gotta be somewhere nearby, though. That's interesting. That's interesting. Why wasn't it there? Anything else I can interact with? Is it under your butt, lady? Inside the tree stump? What am I missing? What am I missing indeed? Alright, so it's definitely not in the tree stump. And it's not in this bush. Because there's just cats in here. What you reading, lady? The packet? Not sitting on a, Is that the art palette right there? Did I miss it the whole time? Yes, it's right there. It's inside the freaking tree. I was on top of it before. All right, well...
Yeah, painting really wasn't for Val, was it?
Sorry that took so long to handle. Let's look for some more things. Let's leave it here. Okay, what do we got? What is this place? The Seed Eaters. I do see somebody. Well, that was the Seed Eaters, but that's entirely different. Oh, there's a thing here, and it's got to do something with these bits on the tree, I would suspect. Or not. There you go. I was just following the pinging sound. Another Grenkin. Right. Seed Eaters. That art is done. Now we have to talk to, we're in the Sargasso Flow in the Seed Giver. And this is... You are Cornelia Kircher, quite famous in art circles.
I spent the summer of '83 with Henry Outram, Laird of Shelmerston, in his grand hall working on a new piece. It was supposed to be about the volcano, but once I arrived, I found myself particularly taken by all the whales around the island.
That's your idea
Henry
what
was
whales
a
look like?
delightful host, always excited to have us bright young artists around, and always ready with a charming question or a fortifying glass of something. His daughter, I think her name was Mallory or Valerie or something, was usually outside roaming the grounds. Henry said she was discovering herself and learning self-reliance through independent play. She seemed feral to me.
Well, that's
One
not
day,
very nice.
I came across the perfect finishing touch to my sculptural masterpiece, but it turned out to belong to the wretched child. I tried to explain to her why I needed it, but she snatched it away and walked off.
You wanted the little boat?
I went to Henry, thinking he could make her give me the boat. But to my astonishment, Henry told me it was up to her if she wanted to give it to me.
Exactly. You can't just take
Henry
a child's
called his
toy for
daughter,
fun.
and we all talked about it. When Henry suggested that maybe I could buy the boat, her little eyes lit up. It cost me £200 for that little wooden boat, but it was worth it.
There we go.
Henry was a good dad at heart, caring about Val's feelings, and treating her like a grown-up even when she was little. Partly how she became so independent, I reckon. I know it was tough on him, but they both turned out pretty well.
Okay, we have two things to find. We have a tiny boat to find, and we also have to find whatever that is in the bottom right, the Grimkin. Hey, look, I found a tiny boat. Done. Well, that was much faster than the last one.
I wonder how many people even saw this.
Oh, that's right. She put it inside. We should have known that. She put it inside her art piece about whales. We knew it was because she bought it for her art piece about whales, so it was only natural we should have looked there if we even thought about it. Probably the Grenkin is in here somewhere. Nope. There's just some eggs. Alright. Moving on. No more time for Grinkins. We have a giant camel statue. The Laird has a camel. Oh, you're still here, dude? It's Henry Outram again.
The famous sculptor Vernon Russet was working on a huge statement piece in my honor. A statue of a camel with my head. When I saw it, I felt quite uncomfortable, but I didn't want to upset him. Poor Vernon could be awfully temperamental, sinking into dark moods for days. The week before the public unveiling, Vernon had me visit the statue. He needed to make some final adjustments to the face. Valerie came along too. She looked like thunder. She hated that statue and wasn't afraid to show it. I couldn't help thinking how like her mother she was.
It is a very strange statue.
When the statue was revealed, the nose was missing. Fortunately, we all managed to cover our surprise and act like nothing was wrong, so no one was any the wiser. Some fellow from the Times wrote a glowing review, so Vernon wasn't too glum about it. I'm
we have to
pretty
find the
sure
nose?
I know what happened to that nose.
Yeah, she took the nose. Okay, so we did need to go back over here and try to fit it. There it is. Once you get close enough, sort of close enough, the game sort of takes over and
Ah, the
fills
old
it in.
Outram spirit. Good for you, Valerie. Your mother would have been proud of you.
All right, you chucked the nose. We have to find the nose.
Yeah, Val told me about this. She had a whole speech prepared in case they figured out it was her who cut that nose off. But she never even needed it.
Time to find that nose. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be not with the statue. It's gonna be in this wooded area. A great place to lose things, it says. Clearly the nose is in here. Maybe in this overgrown bush? Inside the overgrown bush? Deeper inside the overgrown bush? Still inside the overgrown bush? How many layers does this bush have? Oh my gosh, what the heck, game? There it is, the stone nose. Sliced off with a single blow from a heavy chisel.
Oh, this thing looks heavy. I'm surprised Val was able to even lift it.
Thankfully, I can hold down the zoom out button. There you go. All right, get out of the overgrown bush. Freedom of the Morlos picnic area. There's probably a Grenkin here. Yeah, there's a Grenkin here. Okay, that was interesting. But I'm not looking for the Grenkin. Looking for you, madam. In the exhibit of Space Modulation 7. We're looking for the Grenkin here, though, because it's clearly... somewhere in the center. We were getting away from it. There we are. Just had to weirdly spin it for a while. Listen for the beeping. Alright, let's go for you, lady. Mimi Bergonzi. Mimi and Val were best friends until Mimi left Shelmerston to study drama and dance at Exeter University, and they lost touch. She has since returned to the island where she lives with her kids, Arthur and Katie.
In the last summer, before our GCSEs, Val and me spent a lot of time together, usually wondering how we could get our hands on something to drink.
That not it?
No one on this stupid little island would serve us, though. One day, we were hanging around on the allotments near the quay when we spotted something.
Some guys unloading beer off of
And so,
boat.
later that night,
Later that night, you snuck onto the boat and stole the beer.
we went into the woods behind Val's house to drink it, sitting on top of that ancient stone that they say protects the island. But there was no way we were going to get through it all, so we decided to bury the rest.
And that's what we're looking for. Looking beneath, they were sitting on top of an ancient stone.
A few weeks later, we went to dig it up again, but couldn't remember where we dug the hole.
Well, I will look for you.
There is so much of our history buried on this island. Stories everywhere, right under your feet.
Alright, we're looking underground. Ah, what's this? Some bushes? Some bushes with a shovel, you say? Ah, Mimi's secret stash. Not all treasure is gold. What were you drinking? What is it? Sheep shank, huh? I don't know what sheep shank is, but it sounds pretty rough.
Wow, Morris, this smells incredible. I'm getting scallops, I'm getting peaty bogs, I'm getting roast lamb. Woof!
Woof. Well, that's it. That's all the things we need to find, right?
Oh, we did it! Oh, yes! I know what Val smells like now. Her signal is wafting through to me very clearly. Time to fly.
Alright, time to fly. Let's go get those things. Release Sparky! Go fast. You gotta think about the voice talent that had to sit here and bark. Okay, I missed some. I missed 4. Ah, there they are. Here you go, Valerie. I found all your memories. Hey, don't look at me like that.
Morris? Morris Lupton? Is that really you?
It's me, I'm
And
dead.
Sparky?
Val! Oh, it's so good to see you again.
You too. You're looking very,
Very dead?
Yeah, dead?
yeah. But quite good, considering.
Hello,
Well,
Val.
thank you.
And Sparky talks now. Death certainly has been strange. What brings you by?
Well, we're trying to find a replacement custodian. You've surely seen the volcano.
Oh, yes. Poor Aggie. Must be very tired.
Aggie?
Aggie's the
Aggie
custodian.
is the current custodian.
Oh, well, then, yes. We were hoping you might replace Aggie.
Oh, Morris. That's some ask.
Oh,
That's too boring,
you can
huh?
do it, Val.
I'm flattered.
Too
But
boring
those
for
are
an artist.
enormous shoes to fill. And I'm not like you, Morris. I don't love this town like you do. And, if I'm being honest, I can't abide all those arty types and mainlanders tromping around. I can't speak for them. This job isn't for me.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Val. But, well, I understand.
Thank you. It's been so nice to see you again.
You too, Val. Sparky, I'd love to spend some more time chatting with Val.
Oh, I'm sorry, Morris. We really need to keep this search up. That volcano is looking dire.
Come back later, Morris. I'll be here.
Oh, well, all right, Val. I'll find you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Val. So, who's our next custodian potential?
Oh, slow down, Sparky. I need to get some things straight.
No time, Morris. We need to find the next prospect.
Well, it's just that I don't quite understand what we're doing.
We're looking for the custodian.
Well, I get that bit, Sparky, but what does the custodian have to do exactly?
Oh, well, it's hard to explain with your human words, but, the custodian kind of mingles with the island, becomes a part of it.
A part of the rock, the volcano.
Yes, the rock, and the sea, and the animals and plants. The custodian becomes a part of all of these things. It becomes part of the island spirit.
And you give up being a ghost.
Yeah, well, a walking around talking kind of ghost. Stop being someone who can go into the West. It's quite a sacrifice.
You can't move on to the next life if you do
no
it.
wonder Val doesn't want to fill those shoes. Aggie must be a legend.
Oh, she really is.
I always thought there were those folks destined to be mayors and, I suppose, custodians. And then there are people like me and Val, destined for smaller lives.
What? Small? Morris, your heart is as big as the island. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I suppose I'm more like one of those island oddities in the museum.
Yeah, and they were always the visitors' favourites. Now, we need to move on. Next up is Ogden Beckett, in the Old Town.
Ogden it is. I'm right behind you, Sparky.
Ogden Beckett. We're definitely going to find a way to break the loophole of the you have to be 1,000 days dead to be the custodian. I feel like we're going to become the custodian, but we have to get around the rule that says we can't be. Alright, this is Old Town.
So, Ogden next, eh? I'll be glad to see him again.
His music always hurt my ears, but he was good at chin scratches. Oh, lovely guy. Oh, look, the ferry's coming in. There'll be loads of tourists all over this quayside soon.
Well, I suppose they won't get in our way much anymore, eh, girl?
Ogden Beckett, 1948 to 2007. Ogden was a talented instrumentalist, there you go. Leader of the Shelmerston Silver Band and keen cricketer. As a young man, he went to live in New Zealand, but returned to marry his childhood sweetheart, Sally Mapes. There's the camel. We saw that. That's the bar that what's her face, whatever Mimi and Val got kicked out of trying to get a drink. But I think this is a good place to end the episode. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again next time.